Good morning and welcome to Crusher Trading Live. This is your host, Will Power, the Psychomaniac Day Trader. And man, we had a kick butt day yesterday. We were trading the indices and we did have some crush it zones set up. And we're going to talk about these here right now. But let's see here. The first thing I want to talk about is, man, we really crushed it big time on the Qs and SPY. And let me turn this up here. Let me go to here and I'll put the spine here. So basically, I was playing the SPXs and Amir was with me on Qs and we were waiting for this crush it zone to break. It was a little nerve-wracking, but man, when it moved, and I would have to say we probably both got out a little bit early, but man, we didn't know it was going to move the way that had moved. So if you play SPY, we also can trade on what we call SPX. If you're familiar with the SPY, right, it's the S&P 500, basically the EFT type index. Was it the top 30? I can't remember. But you can play the SPX. Do you know what the Roman numeral is for 10? It's X, right? So basically, you're getting 10 times the SPY by trading SPX. I don't know if I'm saying this correctly, so forgive me. But it's basically 10 times, right? So if we are trading at 562, right, yesterday, then we are trading at 5,620, okay? So what does that mean? That means if the stock moves $3 or $2, whatever that movement is, we are going to get 10 times that move, right? So this was a $3.40, 50-cent move, right? Which is 10 times that. So anyways, this thing moved. I think the biggest move was like $12, almost, not quite, maybe it was $11.80. So that means for every $450 we spent on a contract, right, we made $1,100. It was badass. It was a really cool trade. And when those SPXs set up, this is the kind of profits that we put together. And this is why the crush it trade strategy is awesome, right? If you're playing SPXs, you can really rake in the dough. You can really rake it in. And you can also play it on futures if you want to play NQ and whatnot. You will do really, really well if you're playing the crush it strategy on NQ and NS and whatnot. But this SPX, right, if you don't have a futures platform, is absolutely the freaking bomb, okay? So what a badass trade. Now the SPY and the Q is pretty much the same chart here. But here it is. We have the crush it zone right here. Price comes in. You can see it's kind of like weaving. I said it was yesterday, is weaving, needling the 50 SMA there. And, you know, I'm wondering, hey, is it building up power to move higher or what's going to happen? And, you know, just a little bit of patience and all of a sudden she just dropped. And, you know, you're not going to get these kind of moves every single day, but if you're very consistent, you stay consistent and disciplined, you are going to make some really good money, okay? Worst case scenario, you get stopped out, right? But if you stay consistent, you can see the crush it zone strategy does work. And if you go back in time and look at all of our zones, they work out really, really well. And if you're playing SPX, you're really going to do well on these. Like I said, it was almost $1,100 per contract on that move. $440 buy-in, $450 buy-in. Really, really good. But this is it. This is the crush it zone strategy. So the crush it trading strategy. And here it is, with needling on that 50. It's just pretty basic, nice and patient, and boom, she drops. I mean, it's that simple. So the thing with the crush it trading strategy, it's a get up and go strategy, right? So what we don't have to do is shop around. We don't have to look for stuff. Okay, it allows you to get into your office and turn your monitors on, put in your zones, and you wait for price to get to the zone, right? We have a nice arrow here, nice move to the downside. So basically, you know when your entries are, you know where your stop is, and you know where all of your scales are, every single one, okay? Usually we want to take it to the zero line. This one here, we got to take to the other side, the bearish side of the crush zone, where it had another badass move, which I'll show you right now. So really, if you were playing SPX all day yesterday, you would have had 3 kick-ass moves, right? 1,100 per contract. Here you got another crush it zone. Let me put in the bearish ones here. Bear with me here. Okay. You have another one right here. Once again, it's needling, right? But it makes its way up to the other crush it zone again, right? And you get another fast drop. Not as fast as the first one, but a fast drop and a bigger drop, which is worth almost $2,000 per contract. Not quite, but I think it was like $1,800 or something like that. But this, you guys, I'm telling you, after crush it zone, this was badass. So basically, you take 25% of your first trade, you invest it into your second trade, right? And then you take your total winnings there, and you take 25% of that, and you invest it in your third trade. And that's how I do it when I'm taking multiple trades. I do not risk my winnings, 100% of my winnings on a second or third trade ever. Okay, but look at that SPX move, you guys. It's, you know, you could have easily off of a $400, $500 investment, you could have made, you know, $3,000 to $4,000 per contract on this, just playing the crush it trading strategy. If you're patient, okay. A lot of people aren't patient enough to hold through these. You got to just trust the process. When I tell you, we have, like the last 6 weeks, we have had about an 80% win rate on on some of the tickers, and some of the ones like QQQ and SPY, I think they're running around 70% win rate. So if you think about the risk to reward on these, it's exceptionally high. So really, you got to stand your ground. You got to work through the chop, work through the needling, and just hold tight. Okay, hang on for the ride, and you're going to do well. All right. Another one I wanted to talk about here is, let me see here. This was the SPY right here. Sorry, I didn't have that up on the screen, but once again, just a quick repeat here is you have the SPY moving up to the crush it zone, a quick drop, right? This is about $1,100 per contract. And another one up here, another $1,100. And then this one here is about $1,800, almost $2,000 per contract winnings. And if you're patient enough to get through all this chop right here to the other side, right, you had another $1,000 per contract move. Unbelievable on SPX. Okay. One of the things I wanted to bring up here, let me see if I can bring this up, is MSTR. So how many of you have MSTR on your plan? I know some of you have your, right? So Greg, so did you play MSTR? Who all played MSTR yesterday on that crush it trade move? Who all got the move? So you did not capitalize on the move right here. I think it was FOMC. What time did FOMC take place? Okay, and I know if FOMC is taking place and you're trading MSTR, if you look back historically, these do really, really well. I should say they do really, really well. They react well off the crush it zones at FOMC. Yeah, I love SPX was the bomb yesterday. Anyways, so here's MSTR. This is what we're playing. Now, this has had the 7-month average on MSTR is a 70% win. Oh, I'm sorry, an 80% win rating. Okay, we have an 80% win rating on MSTR. Okay, there's a $5 move. This is a 30% plus win. So over 30% on MSTR here. It did take place at 14.16, a little bit later than normal, but once again, it was an FOMC day. So you basically have had, let's open this up real quick and look at this. I don't know how well you can see this. I have the Excel sheet up here. Ooh. We've had 3 crush it zone plays on MSTR. Now, some of you guys are at your desk all afternoon, so I'm not saying there's no reason you shouldn't have taken it, but it was there and it was definitely a winning trade. We had 30, we have had 30 plus winning trades so far in the month of May. So, you know, the double your money challenge, you guys, if you are MSTR, and I talked about this kind of yesterday and the day before, is if you have Viper focus, right? If you are in hyper focus mode, Viper mode is what I call it, right? Strike mode. And you really were serious and committed. So we've been talking about commitment. What does it mean to be commitment? It's non-negotiable. No matter what happens, you get to that crush it zone, you take it, right? You would have doubled your money already in May. 3 days. I'm sorry. We're what, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're 5 days into May, but you had 3 trades off of MSTR. Just think about the true commitment for a second, you guys, because we've talked about this. Why are we not winning trades? Why are we not doubling our money? What's going on? What's happening? Okay, it does get boring while you're waiting, and you do get sidetracked. You do look at other things. We do want to trade. We do want to make money. Okay, these things happen, and this is why I say Viper mode. If you are strictly, right, dedicated and committed to MSTR, I'm not saying that you should have taken it. I'm just saying, hey, man, look at, if you were truly committed to this 100%, there's a good chance that you could have doubled your money in 3 trades already in the month of May. Okay. And we had the month of April, and I asked this question before, a few of you guys committed to MSTR in April. And, you know, $1,000 in April, 27x your money. Okay. 27x on MSTR. That means 27 times. And the question I asked to a few of you guys is, how many of you have doubled your money in April? You had plenty of opportunities to double your money in April. Now, MSTR produces some badass wins, 30 to 50%, almost daily, not quite, but almost. We had 4 stopouts last month. Win rate was 81%. The 7-month average is 79%. You guys, I'm just saying, pay attention. Pay really good attention. And this is the reason why I talked about commitment, doing those little things that we talked about, you know. And I know it sounds stupid and it sounds silly when we talked about, you know, what it means to do unusual, stupid things that don't make sense. And that is, you know, if you can't do 30 sit-ups a day for a month, I mean, think about it. I'm not trying to even say it for healthy, just doing something simple, even if it's unusual and stupid, right? It's to get you to understand what true commitment means. What does it mean to be 100% committed? Okay. And I think this is a great example because it says April up here. I'm sorry, but it is May. This is May. Really, really good on MSTR. Okay. Another one that I'm going to bring up right here is Tesla. Okay. If you're looking at Tesla here, I think you can see these, can't you? So Tesla is, you know, I do like trading Tesla also. $5,000 in Tesla would have produced $10,000 just in 3 days. I think some of you are trading that one. And if you look back in April on Tesla, let's look back on April here quick. We had a 67% win rate. $700 would have produced $2,293, right? Tripled your money. You would have tripled your money on Tesla. Now look at all the stops we have here. At any rate, there's Tesla. Let's go into Coin. Coin is another one that everybody's trading. And I'm going to ask you one more time, how committed are you? How committed are you? $2,000 on Coin. I think we got stopped out. Did we get stopped out? No. Bear with me 1 second here. Did we get stopped at a Coin? I think I put negative 15 and it's supposed to be a plus 30. Bear with me. Did I actually calculate this? Oh, no. You know, that one did. Actually, it's not a negative 15. So let me back up. I have to change this on my end here. Sorry about this, you guys. So Coin is not 31.82. It's actually, and I put a 20% win because we did get it on there. I did take coin. I took a 5% win on it. But yes, you would have doubled your money on coin already the month also. So that's it. That's what I want to show you guys. Like, be committed, right? Stay committed to your plan. And I'm saying this because I want you to know and feel it that you need to stay 100% committed to the plan all the way in. Okay. What does that mean? It means it's not your traditional wait for 5 confirmations or even 3 confirmations. Well, I'm not sure if it's going to work. Listen, we know it's going to work. It works 80% of the time. Okay. This is very untraditional as far as, what we've learned and been taught is, hey, make sure it's going to be a winning trade. Well, if it's an 80% win rating, it does not matter. Okay, you get in as close to the crush zone as possible. And the reason why we're doing this, remember, the reason why we're doing this is because you are going to be much closer to your stop out the closer you get to the crush zone. And the more you wait, the much closer you're going to be to your target, right? And if you're close to your target and far away from your stop and it does stop, you are going to have bigger losses. You can't change the 80% win rate. You can't change it. That's just what it is. Okay, it's unchangeable. So there's nothing, don't try to make it better. Don't try to manipulate it, right? Don't try to put your human intelligence there and say, well, look at what I did. Okay, it's not going to happen. It's not going to work that way because just as probability works on MSTR, the probability of you winning and guessing every one of these trades, you're fighting the system. You're fighting the system. Just sit back and relax. This is why this is a get up and go strategy. This is supposed to take all the fear of trading out, right? Trade like a robot, human intelligence, just get in at the crush zone and hold that son of a bitch all the way to the blue line. And if it gets to the 0.382 and you get stopped out, it doesn't matter. You're still going to win 80% of the time. Now, one of the scaling techniques that we put in here is one of the two things. Either A, you get to 30% or the blue line first, you scale, right? Or the 0.382, if you get to 25%, yeah, take about 20% off the table. When you get to the blue line, take 50 to 70% off the table if you are at a 30% winning rate. You can see most of them go back and they go over the zero line, and you're going to mostly, like when I say 30% win rate, I'm being very conservative. You guys know how MST works, and it's generally working about 30 to 50% win, not win rate, 30% to 50% win on MSTR. Coin has been a little tough. Coin is you got to carry that one all the way through, because if you're going to get to the 30% win rate, you're definitely going to have to get to the blue line, at least the blue line, and for sure, okay? Tesla, no problem. You hold that sucker. Look at the hold time on here, okay? Look at the hold time on Tesla, okay? And I know that a lot of us don't have the patience. We always think, what if? What if this is the one that doesn't make it to the zero line? And every single day, you guys, every single day, I hear this every single day. Oh, shoot, I didn't get filled. Or, hey, I took profits because just in case. You know what you're doing is you're playing the 20% game. If you're going to win 80% of the time and lose 20% of the time, what you're doing, right, is you're playing the 20%, right? You're taking your profits too early, right? You're screwing up your stats, and it's going to be a lot difficult. And then when you go get a losing trade, some of you are holding to 20% losses, waiting for it to happen. So here's what I would have you do today. Hold your winning trades as long as you're losing trades, at least, okay? At least try to hold your winning trade as long as you hold a losing trade, okay? Because you can see how most of these work out. They do work out, okay? So that is what we have for the day, you guys. We had coin, Tesla, MSTR set up. We had the SPY worked badass. I mean, look at this right here in the SPY. If you'd have taken the last one of the day, you'd had to hold through some of these pullbacks. But you have to have high conviction. You have to trust the process, okay? And we talked about that. So let's get ready for the open, okay? Let's remember what we're learning here, and let's try to get in at that crush zone if that's your ticker. If you get stopped out, you get stopped out. You have to stay the course. All right, you guys, if you're interested in learning the crutch trading strategy, check us out. The links below. You're going to love it. 80% win rate on MSTR. We are doubling our money every single month, right, with these tickers. Check us out. All right, guys.